beaver out of the way. Big Valley's on.
Honey, why don't you ever play with the kids? All you do is sit there on that couch with your beer and your pretzels. Why don't we ever play bridge anymore? Why don't we ever go to the movies anymore? Why don't we make love anymore?
So, you say you want the truth? Many think they know the truth, but only one truth stands out above the rest. This is the truth in law. How, who, and why this applies to you. Ready to see how deep the rabbit hole goes? Then join me, David Miola, right here on Freedom Reigns, every Thursday, starting with Uniting Our Communities at 7 p.m. Eastern, covering topics from prepping, bugging in, to getting off grid, and things you and others are doing to bring their local communities together. Then we will take that hard look down the rabbit hole of truth. Are you ready? You need to be. Then join me for the adventure of a lifetime. The truth will set you free.
I can't I love that commercial, David. You did so good with that.
That word you just used on there, I got a list, an email earlier. I didn't get a chance to send it out. It was a list of the words that are on the official list of raising a red flag if they're used on a social network page. And grid was one of them. And pork is another. Why? I don't know.
Oh, cool. I guess we'll have to start using that one more on the Freedom Reigns page.
Yeah, I was going through the list of words. Now, some of them it made sense. Words like terrorist and words like bomb and words like that. Yeah, that kind of makes sense, although it doesn't make any sense that our, constitutional government is surveilling the social network pages into your privacy. That doesn't make sense. But some of the words that they've got on their list of red flag words, I was sitting there thinking, how could they even think that word would raise a red flag, could denote violence or anything like that? And some of those words were just ridiculous. Grid, pork. I'm trying to remember some of the others.
Well, it could pertain to some of the talk of going off the grid. Maybe they want to know who's wanting to go off the grid.
All of us.
Well, we all know that Washington's full of what? Pork.
Yeah.
So, I'm beginning to think that our unconstitutional government just deciding to be a little more unconstitutional. And
well, I mean, that's an indication. That's an indication to me that they're scared to death of us. If they're scared we're even using words like pork.
Yeah.
Well, there's another one that pork would apply to. You're talking something that the Muslims are so against. When after the towers went down and they were talking about building the mosque in place of where the towers were, there were all the people saying, well, just, take a pig and bury it on that site because then the ground will no longer be sacred to them.
Well, I'm surprised somebody didn't accidentally drive through with a pig hauler and let them loose on the site.
Yeah.
Accidentally?
Well, Minuteman, you can just take one of your pigs. That if you find one that someone shot and they didn't bother to take it with them, you can just put a tombstone at the front of your gate that says "Porky Pig lies here."
Well, that's actually, see, I'm one of them that doesn't have anything against Muslims. I might have something against the Sharia law part of
exactly.
What
well,
they
anybody who's dumb enough to think the towers were taken down by 19 Muslim terrorists with box cutters is a moron anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't see that one going over too good because if I was on the airplane, I would have definitely said, well, I guess you better get the cut.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm like you, and I'm like you, Minuteman. I have absolutely no problem with the people. I have a problem with the Sharia law.
Me
right.
too.
Yeah, look, Sharia law, just read about it. Yeah, and in its proper context, too. Even in its proper context, it does not represent freedom. Look, you can't do that to people. You can't do that to women, and that's just the way it is. That's oppression, and it speaks for itself. There's no way that Sharia law could ever live in America.
Well, it can't exist in a free society.
Correct. It just can't exist at all.
It's an oxymoron. Freedom and liberty and Sharia law is an oxymoron.
But actually, if you Google the history of Muslims in America, you find out it goes clear back to the foundings of this nation.
True.
And a lot of people aren't aware of that. That even our founders found the Muslim people to be brethren of theirs. So, look, folks, it's just an argument over religion, basically, is what we're looking at here. And
which is a stupid argument.
Yeah, I'm just not a hater. What can I say? I'm a lover, not a hater, and
well,
I'm
no,
not
in
going to believe.
Our constitutional republic, protects the right of every individual to worship as they see fit.
That's right.
But it also protects the right of every individual not to have their rights usurped by someone else's belief.
That's correct.
Right.
Again, I'll reiterate, I don't care what anybody out there believes. That's their freedom. That's their right to believe what they want to believe in. I don't care if it's the flying spaghetti monster, folks. That's your right to believe in what you want to believe in,
Well, I believe in the flying spaghetti monster.
Actually, there's a real site. My son pointed it out to me. Google it, the Flying Spaghetti Monster. You will find out there's really a site. But the site is kind of funny, and it's meant to be like that. It actually pokes at the hypocrisy that runs in some religions to some folks.
Oh, that's good.
That's what it's all about. Some of the aspects of it are really, really hilarious, and it speaks for itself. No, folks, it isn't meant to be for real religion. It just kind of points out the hypocrisy of some of the religious sects. And
well, he believes in a toilet that flushes.
That's true of most religions, though, David. I mean, and
God,
as soon as you hear somebody tell somebody else, well, you're going to hell because you don't believe this or you don't believe that or you did this or you did that. Well, you're going right along with them because the Bible also says you don't have the right to judge.
Well, right.
Yep.
That's what I point out to people that say that, oh, well, you've just stepped into God's shoes.
Yeah.
I always thought it was up to God to determine that. And, well, you know, there's other aspects, too. I myself don't consider myself to be with a religion. I've got faith.
Right.
Big difference.
Well, hey, guys, before we get too much closer to the end here, we were talking earlier about martial law, and I want to invite everybody to listen to Dr. Miola's show from last night, because he taught a lot on martial law. And I believe it'll be very informative and very helpful to a lot of the people out there that are so afraid, you know, in lieu of, or because of all those fear-mongering sites and blogs and emails and everything else that comes out. And I also want to invite everybody to stay tuned tomorrow for Community and the Militia with Minuteman and Drake. And that'll be from 7 to 10 Eastern Time tomorrow evening.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
anyways, I'll let you guys go ahead and take it down to the last couple of minutes.
All right. Well, what I'd like to point out is, look, folks, we're not asking you to put your guards down. Make no mistake. We just want you to be thorough and check out your information well. We want you to get rid of that fear. It's just so uncalled for. But come on, folks, let's get busy. Let's build our communities. Let's get our militias intact. And let's, well, let freedom reign. And that's basically all I have to say for tonight.
And when you start getting worried about silly things like martial law, just stop and think. Does your town even have enough cops to go house to house and disarm you and force you, everybody in town, to do anything?
No,
they don't have the enforcement, folks.
What they're going to do is they're going to ask them 22 Russians to come and help them.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't have the enforcement. Stop being afraid of that which they are not prepared to do.
And you're going to find a lot of that out.
Let's not forget the Pots and Pans Brigade this Thursday.
Yeah, let's ring.
Is there a way that the Pots and Pans Brigade can, well, maybe every 2 weeks, every month?
On the last day of every month.
Have the potential to build.
Yeah.
Last day of every month sounds awesome.
The last day of every month, whether that's the 30th or the 31st or the 28th.
What about the last Thursday of every month? So it's on a Thursday and we're not doing it on a weekend.
Oh, that's a good idea.
One.
Yeah,
last Thursday. That's a
Thursday.
very good idea.
Last Thursday of every month, 4 o'clock.
Wow.
Eventually, they'll get the message.
Wearing body armor.
Then we'll bang on that. Oh, we want them to wear body armor. Imagine the kind of headache you can give them if you start banging on them with metal spoons.
Take a couple metal.
Oh, actually, you can put the ceramic plates on, and you can just bang the pots and pans on that.
There you go. Forget the spoon.
What you want to do is you want to play that old song, Wipeout, on their helmets.
Oh, my God.
That's a good one, Drake.
I can almost do that on bongos, but, you know. That definitely interfere with that radio stuff they like to play. Ooh, we need
I'm picturing that. Wipe out.
Yeah. Boomity boom boom. Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of different things that can be done. One of those that I would suggest is that any idiot that decides they're going to use what's called static crowd control, those are those little dishes that you see on top of vans that the police got.
the
all
sound
you have to
stuff.
do is take an old small satellite dish, cover it with tinfoil, and aim it back at them. It has a tendency to short out their systems.
Oh.